Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's set of words. We would be covering some vocabulary that would help you in your GMAT, SATs, and a lot other exams. You can also use these words in your daily conversations, right? So let's get started. Our first word here is fixate. And now the word itself suggests the meaning fix, right? Fix means something that is in a specific position, right? It is not moving, it's fixed there. So the word is derived from the word fix. Fixate means to think about something too much and find it difficult to stop. Like you are constantly thinking about the same thing. You are not moving ahead from that thing. You are constantly thinking about the thing, brooding about that thing, right? So you are fixated on that thing, right? So if you are thinking in excess about something and you are not able to move ahead from that topic, that means you are fixated, right? You find that it's really difficult for you to stop thinking about it. For example, he never used to be so fixated on losing weight. That means, although, people generally try to lose weight, but this person was never this fixated. That means he used to try and lose weight, but he wasn't going up, like he was not obsessed about it. All right, so he was obsessing over the fact that he wants to lose weight, right? High achievers sometimes fixate on their own flaws. So, people who are high achievers, who achieve a lot in their life and who wish to achieve a lot in their life, they do not look for flaws in others. They are fixated on their own flaws, right? Own mistakes. He became fixated on the piano at age 4 after seeing one at school. Now, this person, he must have seen a piano at his school and then he became fixated. He could not think about anything other than the piano. He was so obsessed, I want a piano, right? So, at the age 4, he got fixated on the piano, right? So, fixate means to think about something too much and you find it difficult to stop thinking about it. All right. Okay, here goes our next word, fleeting. Fleeting means lasting for a very short time or short or quick, right? Fleeting means something that is there for a short period of time and then suddenly it vanishes. Okay. Or you can also say fleeting is synonymous to short or quick, right? We only had a fleeting glimpse of the sun all day. That means we did see the sun in the day, but it lasted for a very short time, right? There was not a long period of time in which we could see the sun. So we had a fleeting glimpse. Glimpse is like a look, right? A quick look. He had a fleeting moment of panic, but quickly recovered. This person must have had a moment where he panicked, but that moment was very short. He panicked for a moment and then he recovered from that panic, right? We paid her a fleeting visit before leaving the country. That means we paid her a quick visit before leaving the country, right? So it was not a very long visit, not for days or even for like hours. It was like maybe an hour or a two visit before they were leaving the country, like fleeting visit, short timed visit. So fleeting means something that is lasting for a very short time. Can say something that's short or quick. Okay. Our next word is florid, right? Florid means with too much decoration or detail. All right. If something is decorated in intensity, like you are seeing a decoration which is too much or is too detailed, then you say that thing is florid, right? Or if someone has an unhealthy red face, you can see this person is having an unhealthy red face. So this appearance is also called as florid. He asked many questions in his rather florid speech. but never produced a single answer, right? That means his speech was much too detailed, right? But he only asked questions during those speech. He was not really giving answers. All right. Next is tears are flowing over his florid face. So when we cry, sometimes our face becomes red, right? And that's an unhealthy red. So tears were falling. They were flowing over his florid face, his red face. Years of heavy drinking had given Allison a florid complexion, right? Florid complexion, unhealthy red complexion, okay? Because she was heavily drinking, so her complexion was florid. And because drinking is unhealthy, so she had unhealthy red face, right? Okay. So florid with too much decoration or detail could be a florid speech, okay? Could be a florid event, right? And also if someone has an unhealthy red face, then that is also called as a florid complexion or florid face. Our next word, flourish. Flourish means to grow or develop successfully or to move something in your hand. Now, when you say that a business is growing, we generally say the business is flourishing, right? So that means it's growing, it's developing successfully, right? It's going towards success. So flourish means to grow or develop successfully, right? It also means to move something in your hand, right? For example, you're doing like this, right? When you bring your exam results and you're happy, so you just, no, here my exam results, I passed, and right. So let's see the examples. No new business can flourish in the present economic climate. What the economic climate is right now, I don't think a new business can flourish, right? The illegal trade in animal products continues to flourish. People are still trading illegally in animal products, right? Which is illegal, shouldn't be done. But this trade is flourishing. Okay. This trade is still growing. She came in smiling, flourishing her exam results, right? She's moving the exam results in her hands, flourishing. Okay. So flourishing generally is used to say that something is growing or developing successfully, right? That is flourish. Okay. Flout. Now, this means to intentionally not obey a rule, law, or custom. You know a certain rule has been set, but you're still not obeying it. You are intentionally disobeying something, right? Many motorcyclists flout the law by not wearing helmets. Motorcyclists know that they're supposed to wear the helmet. If they don't, it's against the law, but they still don't wear it, right? It's against the law and still they're doing it. So that is a flout. Many bar owners flout the laws on underage drinking. That means underage drinking is not allowed, but many bar owners disobey that law. They allow underage drinking, right? They let underage people, underage students drink. Some companies flout the rules and employ children as young as 7. Child labor, not allowed, right? It's against the law. But some companies are still doing it. So what are they doing? They are flout, right? So flout means to intentionally not obey a rule, a law, or a custom. Right? You know it's there, but you're still disobeying. Okay. So that is flout. All right. Foreground. Foreground means to make something the most prominent or important feature. For example, a happy lady occupies the foreground of the painting. That means in this painting, the most prominent feature, the most important thing we should say, or the most highlighted thing is this happy lady, right? So she is occupying foreground of this painting, right? She's occupying that area of the painting, which is the prominent feature. Okay. Such an issue has not occupied the foreground of political debate. That means there is some issue which has taken an important part of this debate of politics, right? It is not something that should not be discussed or that is not being discussed. This issue is now taking most of the time of discussions. So this issue has become a foreground issue, right? So such an issue has not occupied the foreground of political debate. Education has been very much in the foreground recently. Recently, everyone's up for education, right? People want to get educated, move abroad, or stay here, upskill themselves, right? Work in bigger companies or maybe start their own companies, right? So, education is very much in foreground. That means it's up there in front, most prominent, most important feature, right? So, that's foreground. Okay. Foresight. Foresight means the ability to judge correctly what is going to happen. We say someone who is able to predict the future happenings has a foresight. Okay. So you can remember it like this: sight, the ability to look, right? And for, that means forward. They are able to look in a future period, right? So the ability to judge correctly what is going to happen in future is foresight. She had the foresight to sell her house just before the prices came down. So she sold her house, and it was luckily before the prices of properties came down, right? So she had a foresight. The government's policies show a remarkable lack of foresight. Government policies look like they have no idea of what's going to happen in the future, right? So it's a remarkable lack of foresight. They had the foresight to invest in new technology, right? Now some people, they are investing in new technologies, and yeah, it's a great idea, but sometimes it turns out to be not beneficial, right? So you should have a foresight for investing, right? So foresight, the ability to judge correctly what is going to happen, right? That is foresight. Okay. Forestall. Now you're seeing the root word here is for, right? F-O-R-E. Forestall, we did for, like we are right now doing forestall. We also did foresight, right? So there is another word, foreground, right? So all these things are talking about future or front, right? So I would say that understand for as something which is in front, right? Front of the page, like front of any sector, any vertical. If you are staying in the front of it, you are occupying foreground. If you are seeing in front of you, like seeing what's going to come in near front of you, as in near future, you are having a foresight, right? And then is your forestall, which also means to prevent something from happening by acting first. That means what will happen in the future, you are going to stall it. Stall it, you're going to, prevent it from happening. So prevent something from happening by acting first is forced. Okay. So let's say a company forestalled criticism by inviting union leaders to meet. And company knew that they'll be criticized. So what did they do? They forestalled. They prevented criticism by people by inviting union leaders to their meet. Many doctors prescribe aspirin to forestall second heart attacks, to delay second heart attacks, not in, I won't say delay, to not let the second heart attack happen. People like doctors prescribe aspirin in advance. Try to anticipate what your child will do and forestall problems. If you try to guess what your child might do, that would help you to prevent any mishappenings from happening, right? So, forestalling your problems by knowing what your child might do, okay, is a great idea. So forestall means to prevent something from happening by acting first. You act first to prevent what will happen in the future. All right. Our next word, forego. Now, forego means to not have or do something enjoyable. For example, I shall have to forego the pleasure of seeing you this week. Forego, you can remember it like letting go of something, right? Let go. So I shall have to let go the pleasure of seeing you this week. That means I won't be able to see you this week. No one was prepared to forego their lunch hour to attend the meeting. No one was prepared to let go of their lunch hour. So you can remember forego like let go. Let go of. So no one was prepared to let go of their lunch hour just to attend a meeting, right? Workers agreed to forego a pay raise for the sake of greater job security. Workers were like, if you give us job security, we would not ask for a pay. They were ready to let go of a pay raise in return for a greater job security. So forego means to let go of something, to not have it. Okay. For example, this girl right here, she is letting go of the junk food, which I really want to do once in my life. Okay, really important. All right. Next is forsake. Forsake means to leave someone forever, especially when they need you. Now, forgo was also let go of something. Forsaking is also letting go of someone. You forgo things, you forsake people, right? And if you forsake people, that means you're leaving people mainly when they need you, right? Some people do that. She will never forsake her vegetarian principles. That means she'll never leave her principle of eating vegetarian food. He decided to forsake politics for journalism. He decided to leave politics, right, for something else, for journalism, right? I thought she might forsake ballet in favor of Irish dancing. She might leave ballet in favor of Irish dancing. Now, forego means you're letting go of something momentarily or for some time. Forsake means you are letting go of it permanently, right? Forever. Okay, so if you are forsaking ballet, that means you won't do ballet ever. Okay, so forsake is to leave someone forever. Forsake. Okay, now let's revise. Forsake, leaving someone or something forever, right? Forsake means permanently leaving something. For maybe when someone needed you a lot, that's when you left them, so you forsake them, right? Or if you are forsaking a subject, that means you're leaving it completely. You would never do it again, right? So that's forsake. Forgo means to let go of something, not have something, right? It can be a momentary thing, it can be for a short period of time, it's not permanent. Forgo the lunch hour to attend meetings. That means forgo, let go the lunch hour just to attend a meeting, right? So forgo is to let go. Forestall means to prevent something from happening by acting first. You act first to help something to prevent something from happening in the future, right? So forestall, stalling what will happen in the future, preventing the occurrence of an event in the future, that is forestall. Right? For example, many doctors, they prescribe aspirin. Why? So they can forestall a second heart attack. They can prevent the second heart attack from happening. Okay. All right. Foresight. Foresight is the ability to judge correctly. If you know what is going to happen in the future, and not prediction, foresight means you are just judging correctly in realistic manner, like the market might drop, or the share prices will rise or something, right? All right, foresight, right? So we did the ability to judge correctly what is going to happen, right? Now is foreground. Foreground is to make something the most prominent or important feature of another thing. For example, this happy girl in the picture, she is the most prominent feature of this painting. So she is in the foreground, right? You can also say that education is in the foreground. That means education is occupying the most prominent part of the world today, right? So that is foreground. Flout means to intentionally not obey a rule, a law, or a custom. So, many bar owners, they do not intentionally obey the underage drinking law. That means these owners, they flout these laws, right? So, flout. Flourish means to grow or develop successfully, right? So if some business, some person is developing or growing successfully, we say he or she is flourishing, the business is flourishing. And if something is moving in your hand like this, a paper, a result, so that is also flourishing that. Florid has two meanings. One, something with too much decoration or detail, right? Could be a speech, florid venue, florid house. And florid also means unhealthy red face, right? For example, if you're crying, you'll have a florid face, right? And a speech can be florid, right? Someone gave a florid speech. All right. Fleeting means for a very short time, short or quick, lasting for a very short time, short or quick time, right? So if something, happened and then it suddenly stopped happening or it happened for a small period of time, we say the activity was fleeting. A fleeting moment of panic, that means a short moment where you panicked, but after that you were okay. Fixate means to think about something so much that you're not able to stop thinking about it. You're fixated on thing, you've stopped on that thing, and you're not ready to move from that, right? So, people are sometimes fixated on losing weight. They cannot think about anything other than losing weight, right? I was like that one time, not anymore. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. See you soon.